Those are only ingredients which are needed for boosting your chickens. When you have peanuts, you have soybean, you have maize, you hover them. Or after shoveling them or after mixing them together, then you'll have It's another beautiful day once again, guys, and you're welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today I'm going to show you how you can mix the booster feed. You see, maybe you have the chickens that which are not growing, which refuse to grow, and you're looking for all medicines, but you have failed. You know, you go to the pharmacies, you bring the booster feed, the booster dose, they are not growing. So you have the broilers. And they are almost like 3-4 months, but they are almost like 2 months, 3 months, but they look like as if they are only 1 month or 2 weeks. Here is a secret. I'm going to show you how you can mix it. So at least I want you to, if you have local chickens, it should be equivalent to this size. You see, it should be equivalent to this size, so that's when you can enjoy. My chickens are very big, and they lay all the day, or every day, except due to the fact that I use this feed together with my natural feed. You see? Then you understand, for the chickens to be bigger or to look like monsters, first things or the nutrients which are needed are protein and energy. Those are key nutrients which are needed for the chicken to look very big compared to others. You see? So the protein sources we doesn't need any animal protein. Understand this. In boosting chickens or in a booster feed, we doesn't use animal protein. Okay? Here are ingredients which me myself I use to boost my chickens. Peanuts, then soybean and maize. Those are only ingredients which are needed for boosting your chickens. When you have peanuts, you have soybean, you have maize, they are enough to boost your chickens. And then you have the local chickens which look like monsters. Or if you have broilers that are not growing like the way you expected them to grow, they will be more like monsters or very huge compared to the ones you have been having. Then how will you use these 3 key ingredients to boost your local or your chickens to be more bigger? Then you will get peanuts. You understand that peanuts has trypsin inhibitor that limit the digestion of protein. So it means that before you use peanuts, you have to first decodicate or roast the peanuts so that you remove the trypsin inhibitor that can limit the digestion of the protein in the peanuts. The same applies to the soybean. Soybean also have the trypsin inhibitor in it. And you remember the trypsin inhibitor that is in peanuts and that is in soybean, it is in the taste or in the coating. You know? So if you roast the soybean and the peanuts, the trypsin inhibitor in its tester, it is going to die out. So you have to make sure that you roast the soybean and peanuts for 1 hour on the heat of 100 degrees centigrade. For 1 hour, the trypsin inhibitor will have died out. Then it will be safe to be used in poultry. Okay? Then after roasting your soybean and your peanuts, then you will get 50% on all sides. Let's say that you're mixing 50 kilograms of the booster feed. You get 50 kilograms of peanuts, 50 kilograms of soybean, and 50 kilograms of maize. Then you combine them together. Then you hover them. After shoveling them or after mixing them together, then you'll have the final product of booster feed. Then how will you use the booster feed so that it works for you? Because if you go on and use only a booster feed in your chickens are going to be allergic. And if you have broilers, at 3 weeks they will die due to pressure. So you have to make sure that you at least use them together with the natural feed you have been using. Let's say that we usually recommend 50 grams of 50% of the feed in the morning, 50% of the feed in evening, or 60% in the morning and 40% in evening. Let's take 50% in morning and 50% in evening. Here, you will get 40% of the rations of your mash you have been using. You give them to the chickens in the morning. Then after the morning time, when it reaches at a midday, then you give the 10% of the booster feed. Then again, in evening or afternoon, you give the remaining 40% of your usual feeds. Then when it is red in evening, then you also give another 10% of the booster feed. That is when it will work for you. After 2 weeks, all your chickens will have fine feathers. Then you will have the fretching. I mean the fretching when you see the feathers, how the feathers are arranged on the chicken. That is what we call fretching. So the fretching of your feathers will be smooth. Again, you will have the growth rate or the growing ratio. All of the chickens will be on the same ratio or on the same size by 80%. At least 80% of your chickens will be on the same size. You will not have the little chickens and the bigger chickens. No, that will not happen to your flock when you're using this feed. And the moment you get what you wanted, for example, maybe you're boosting the local chickens, or you're boosting the dual purpose chickens, or you're boosting the rare chickens. When you boost them, after 2 weeks, you have to stop using this feed. Because if you continue giving this booster feed for whole growing period, your chickens are not going to lay. Because it makes the fatty acid or the fats, it stimulates the development of the fats. And when you give it for the longest period, the fats will surround the ovary, and the ovary it will not initiate the production of the eggs. So it means that your chickens are not going to lay afterwards. So it means that if you're boosting the layers or local or your purpose, after 2 weeks of boosting them, stop using this feed. If you're boosting broilers or if you're boosting cocks, which you are going to sell, boost them up to the point of sale. It's fine if you use it throughout the whole cycle. Hope that you have learned this lesson.